This is Oscar Bevis for the Stomping Ground, powered by Wow Hydrate and available on DAZN. Lewis Richardson joins me, Team GB bronze medalist at 71 kg. Lewis, first off, congratulations, a huge congratulations, in fact, for bringing home Team GB's only boxing medal, and thank you for having me here today. How's life?
Yeah, good. Thanks for coming, Colchester, in local barbershop, Jack Finch here. So yeah, thanks for joining us this morning. But now feeling amazing, feeling great. It's tiring, this old rock and roll lifestyle of doing a lot of media and being here, there, and everywhere. But listen, wouldn't change it for the world. And yeah, most importantly, happy to have this Olympic medalist.
Yeah, it must feel amazing. The 63rd athlete to win a boxing medal for Team GB. Some brilliant names have gone before, and I'm sure some brilliant names will go after. But at the bottom of that list, the most recent, Lewis Richardson. Has it actually sunk in?
It's crazy, yeah. Good stat. I didn't know that one. It's a new one for me, Oscar, so thank you for that. But yeah, obviously it just shows how illustrious it is to win an Olympic medal. Real special moment in my career, in my life, and yeah, it's hard to know whether it has sunk in or not, because I've got nothing to compare it with. It's always a funny thing with a bronze medal, because like any other tournament you'd almost be disappointed with, but yeah, an Olympic medal in general hits different. So yeah, I'm feeling extremely proud and happy.
Well, we'll come on to the actual games in a bit, considering we're in Colchester, which is, I guess, where you were born?
Yeah,
where
born
your
and
story
raised,
started.
yeah.
Forget the Olympic bronze medalist Lewis Richardson for now. I want to take you right back to the start. And the first time that boxing came into your life.
Yeah, just sort of stumbled across it, to be honest. Just from a local.
Quickly, stumbled across it, end up with a bronze medal. By the way, who stumbles across something, they get a bronze medal.
That just shows what's possible. I really did, from a local council estate, went down to the boxing gym with about 12, 13 of, sort of little troublemakers. All of us just messing about. Nothing serious, all just up to no good all the time. I was probably about 12 years old at the time. We all went down to the boxing gym just to see what this was about. And sort of one by one, week by week, everyone dropped out. And for whatever reason, I sort of stuck with it. And here we are 15 years later with an Olympic medal around my neck. So I think it just shows, anything's possible. And I'm a super normal kid from my area, and it just shows that if I can do it, anyone can do it.
Yeah, I was at a boxing club in Hackney last night, and they had 3 remaining members last month, and Matchroom donated some money, and just showed me the importance of why keeping those doors open does well for the community. And you're a great example of that now, sitting there with the bronze medal. So why was it you that stuck at it on not everyone else? Was there something about the gym? Like, I know some people say even like the smell of leather, or
yeah.
What was it that like hooked you?
Yeah, I don't know.
Stay in the gym?
I don't know. I think a mindset. What I loved about boxing was a one-on-one factor of boxing, where in a team sport environment, in football, for example, if a teammate would give away a penalty, if a teammate would make a mistake or miss an easy goal, it would be very frustrating. But I wouldn't be annoyed at them. I'd just be annoyed that I couldn't control that. Whereas with boxing, you take accountability for your wins or your losses, and I love that factor. And fortunately for me, obviously, I think I'm 127 bouts deep now, but I'm more often than not winning rather than losing.
What was bout number 1 like?
It was good. It was good. It was in Billericay. I won back then. It was point scoring. I won 26 points to 2. That was at 62 kilograms when I was.
So you just shaved it then?
Yeah, it's close. Yeah. Now that was 62 kilograms. 15 years later, I'm boxing at 71, which shows. It's been a struggle to make this weight, but it's been worth every ounce of the struggle. As my mate would say, that the squeeze would be worth the juice, and it's certainly been worth it.
Yeah, I like that. I'm going to be using that. The squeeze will be worth the juice. Was there a point where you realised, obviously, tell me as well what sort of career path you were aiming to go down, but was there a point where you realised, actually, I don't just enjoy this, I'm not just okay at this, I'm pretty good, and I could make a career path for myself in the sport of boxing? Was there one point where it clicked and you went, yeah, this is a life choice now?
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't say necessarily there was that one sort of light bulb moment. what I would say is I was consistent. I've been consistent for so many years and just trying to be the best version that I can be. And especially like a real focus the last few years being the best version I can be inside and outside the ring. But you know, from a young sort of teenager from the local council estate, it was just I was competitive. I love sport. I wanted to be involved in sport, and I loved the fact that I could control the situation as much as possible. That meaning I could train hard, I could prepare myself the best I could be, and I could get in the ring and do my thing. I often remember Mum saying, I think when I was about 17, 18, I'd gone to college. I was just finishing my A levels, and I was like, Mum, I'm gonna work part time for a year. I'm gonna try to get some local sponsors, and I'm gonna try to give boxing a go. And she was like, okay, cool, yeah, nice, good luck, son. Mum just let us go with the flow, me and my brother. And then a couple of years later, I got on GB. Part time on GB, so again, you know, it wasn't on much money at all, but it was enough maybe to get by. And I remember Mum saying to me, "Listen, Lou, when are you going to get a real job?" And I was like, "Mum, this is my job." And you know, fortunately now, the last few years I've been on, you know, slightly better funding. I've had some more sponsors come in, and I've been able to live a bit more of a, you know, a normal sort of life for a 20, 26, 27-year-old, which, you know, is a bit more of a normal income. Still not a lot, but you know, fortunately for me, what I've just achieved over the last couple of weeks in Paris should give me a platform now to be able to springboard off of that.
Yeah, I had the same problem as you. I remember my dad saying to me, when are you going to get a real job and stop running around with a camera? And it took a few Eddie Hearn interviews for him to go, oh, actually, you do something that's
You're doing all
worthwhile.
right at this.
I felt you. Yeah, exactly. I felt you. You said, obviously, going into the gym and doing boxing and being very consistent. Was there any other sports that perhaps you were interested in, or you tried your hand at?
Yeah, I was a keen footballer, as a majority.
Are you a fan?
I'm a Leeds fan,
What?
Leeds United fan. So Dad supports Leeds because one of his side of the family from Leeds, and obviously when Dad was growing up back in the 70s, Leeds were a force to be reckoned with. Not so much nowadays, but that being said, you know, we were unfortunate not to go up last season, so I'm hoping, you know, this season we'll go back up. Also a Cole U fan because there's a link there in regards to obviously living there, but also that was my first job. Used to work at Colchester United, sort of waitering on sort of hospitality boxes on match day, and also doing like Friday night tribute nights, comedy nights. So you know that was one of my part-time jobs, one of few that I had to sort of pay the bills whilst I was pursuing the real dream of boxing.
Yeah, I had to get that in there because one of my friends is a big Cole U fan, so I had to chuck the Cole U in there. So if we move to the Team GB stage, obviously you're doing well. Does the Olympics get mentioned to you? Like, does a coach pull you to the side and go, Olympic trials are coming up, you're under consideration? Like, how does the process go for you to start thinking about the Olympics in the back of your mind?
Well, as soon as I got onto the squad, you know, the pinnacle of the sport is the Olympic Games, and the whole reason they sort of accept you onto the squad is because you've got potential to be an Olympian. So that straight away, that was back in 2018 now, straight away there was that clear sort of link to be like, okay, what do I need to do to get to the top? I was a long way off. I think I've had maybe 50 bouts for GB, maybe a few more, and my development, you know, has gone up tenfold from there. I'm a completely different fighter and person today than I was back 6 years ago when I joined the squad. But so I joined in 2018, and then had 2019 was quite a good development year for me. Went to a few sort of comps, done well. Won my first gold for GB at Tokyo Test event in 2019, which was memories that will stay with me for life, special moments. And then heading into Olympic year 2020, I actually got the call up to be the reserve for the 75 kilogram spot. Our number one got injured. Bam, I'm into the Olympic qualifiers. Boxed Tony Yoka's little brother in the first bout, beat him unanimously, and then I'm due to box Kuzniak, pound for pound, probably most feared amateur on the planet at the time at middleweight. COVID hit. Had 15 months to mentally prepare for Kuzniak. Talk about mental preparation. People talk about my resilience. I'm sure that's a huge reason why I've got this mental resilience, because I had 15 months to prepare the best I could for that moment. Wasn't meant to be, performed well, but you know, he, as I said, he was a beast at the time. Went on to win Olympic silver. Was 2 minutes away from winning Olympic gold in Tokyo. Since won gold in Paris at 80 kilograms, and then leaving sort of that Olympic cycle, I was really certain I was gonna be at Paris. I was going to have another 3 years of development. I was already one of the best in the world, I felt, at middleweight, but I was going to get even better. And then obviously got a couple major medals in 2022, and then they announced the weight was being taken out, which was a massive hit for me, a massive blow, which felt like potentially the dream was going to be over. A few injuries along the way, just really wouldn't seem like it was going to go my way, and then had a bit of a light bulb moment back end of last year, and it was almost like a farewell tournament for me to say goodbye to GB and goodbye to the amateurs before I turned professional in Spain. At middleweight that was, and then I just thought, nah, I'm going for this. This is my moment. I've got 9 months until the Olympic Games. I'm going to do everything I can in my power to get there, and we got there in the end. So yeah, amazing.
Yeah, the little bumps, I guess, are what make that medal even sweeter.
100%.
So you become an Olympian. Before we talk about the actual fights and Fight 1 in Serbia, how long before the first fight or the games did you fly out to Paris? What was the original experience like? Because I've only seen or been around the Olympics. It was here in 2012, and they say the place catches a buzz. What was it like landing in Paris, going to the Olympic Park, seeing other GB athletes?
Yeah.
What was the original kind of Olympic buzz like when you touched down?
Yeah, unbelievable. I mean, I was here in London 2012 as well, and as a fan, I remember going to the Paralympics because we couldn't get tickets for the Olympics, but the buzz around Stratford was amazing at the time as a fan. But to be an athlete, even that was what dreams are made of. And we headed out. Well, I mean, my last few months have just been, been so special. I qualified in Bangkok, May the 31st, and then obviously boxed my first bout in the Olympic Games in July 31st, so 2 months to the day after. But every sort of day in between has just been an absolute blessing, and yeah, I've just loved every moment of it, to be honest. But heading out to Paris, we headed out to, I don't know how to pronounce it, I'm going to go Reims, but it's incorrect in a French term. But we headed out there a week before we went to the village. That was fantastic. Team GB really set us up amazingly well. Had great facilities, great food, great accommodation. We were there with the swimmers and the gymnasts, so real 2 solid teams with us, as well as a boxing team, which is a solid team as well. So 3 solid sort of teams, as well as a couple other sports, some smaller sports. But that was really good. And felt like a fan, because I'd been watching these swimmers, these gymnasts in Tokyo, in Rio, in London. You look at Max Whitlock, gymnast. I'm a fan of his. I look at Adam Peaty, I'm a fan of his. And
household names in the UK.
And I'm not afraid to say that. I'm not afraid to say I'm a fan, and I'm going up to them and asking for pictures. But now I'm one of them. I'm one of them guys as well. I'm in my Team GB kit, so that was pretty special. As I said, got really well looked after. Great training, great preparation. Headed into the Olympic Village, and then that was just different level. Rubbing shoulders with some of the best athletes in the world, and as I say, as a sports fan, it was like, wow, what is going on here? A little bit of imposter syndrome the first couple of days, but it was a little bit like, I deserve to be. I'm going to own it, and I did own it, and I think I've done pretty well, because you look at all these athletes who are there, let alone all the athletes who medal, and it's a much smaller number.
Very well is an understatement. You said you had that kind of bit of imposter syndrome, but I don't know how many days in it was. Noah Lyles asked you for a picture.
Sort of. We can go that way. We can run with that if you want. I was in
Let's definitely run with that.
Well, listen, we're both medalists, aren't we? We've both got a bronze. He's just got a gold on top. But it was. He's one of the biggest stars. You look at the 100-meter race; it's the most iconic race in the Olympic Games, probably one of the most iconic races in the world. And I see him floating around the village, and I was umming and ahhing, should I get a picture? And I thought, back yourself. So I went up to him and asked him, and this is why I love what I do. He was umming and ahhing whether to say yes initially, and I introduced myself, Lewis, representing Great Britain. I boxed, and he was like, "Oh, you're a boxer, man. That's cool." And straight away, he's engaged and he wants to talk about it. He had a brief conversation, got a picture, and then obviously went and both done our thing. I sent the picture into a few group chats, and I was like, "Oh, boys, look, I just got a picture with," and I don't know who that is, and I was like, you'll know in a few days. And yeah, I think 4 days later he won his Olympic gold in 100 meters. But even other people like Andy Murray. So Andy Murray was in our block, and we see him a lot, and to be honest, apart from my boxing teammates in Team GB, Andy was probably the person I spoke to most out of any other athlete, because 1, he loves his boxing, but 2, he loves everything the Olympic brings. And I spoke to him and I said, you know, why do you want to end your career here? And he said, it's you know, some of the best memories of my life and some of the favourite moments. And for someone like Andy to say that, who's really, you know, lived some amazing moments and achieved some great things, it just shows the power of the Olympics and sort of how you know the whole world comes together for this one moment every 4 years.
Yeah, you can't deny the power of the Olympics. We will come on to fight number one, but I've got to ask, have you got the rings tattooed?
I have,
Have you?
but they're healing.
Right.
And
where have you got it done?
You'll see next week
it's
on my
a
social
surprise.
media. Nah, it's
Well, I can't. You're wearing t-shirt and shorts, and I can't see.
Yeah, it's not in a it's in a nice area, but yeah, you'll see the rings on my social media next week or so. But no, I'm really happy with it, and I wanted to get it, and it was booked in pre-Olympic Games because when I qualified, for me, it's a signal, you know, it's a sign of the journey. The journey to get to the Olympic Games and everything is sort of taken to be there, and that's a real stamp of respect, the Olympic rings. And regardless of what I went on to achieve in Paris, I wanted to sort of get that stamp of respect on me because I feel like I earned it and deserved it. It was just made it even sweeter getting it. I got it on Tuesday night, the day after I got home, but it made it even sweeter getting it, knowing that, you know, I've got that medal. I must admit though, it was sore. So my first tattoo, and maybe my last, but yeah, it hurts a lot more getting in the ring. No, it hurts a lot more getting tattooed than it does getting in the ring.
Really? See,
yeah.
I was going to go and get a tattoo next week, a joint one with my missus.
Your first one?
My first one, yeah.
You've done this?
You might be putting me off it.
Yeah, I don't know. Where are you getting it done? Whereabouts in your body?
Back of the arm. And look at the size of my arms as well. Look, quite skinny.
You're
so
strong. Nah, listen, back yourself. You can do it. You go for it. It's worth it.
Right, on to your first fight against Serbia. A European Games gold medalist in the ring with. Someone you was aware of before, someone you might have fought before. What was your kind of headspace going in? And obviously talk to me about your first Olympic victory.
Yeah, so a lot of these guys I hadn't fought before because I've not been at the weight for long. Obviously, I only made the drop, you know, quite recently. So I've not necessarily boxed a lot of these guys, but I'd heard of them. Obviously, this Serbian in particular, he'd European champion, world medalist, and more importantly for me, he'd beat Pat McCormack in an amateur in a small tournament a few years beforehand. And anyone that beats Pat McCormack is top level. You know, he was a special amateur, one of the best amateurs we've ever had on representing Great Britain. So I knew if he had a victory over him, he was going to be, you know, top draw. I was confident going into it. Knew I was a massive light middle, and I knew he was a pretty small light middle as well. He'd won his majors at either 67 or 71, whereas I'd won my major medals at 75. Was confident going in, was relaxed, and was very much performance focused rather than results focused. I just wanted to make sure, as long as I perform well, which I was confident I was going to do, then I'd be proud of my performance, proud of the result, regardless of what it was. And obviously results hadn't gone our way, the pressure was on, the media was really on the spotlight about GB sort of being an absolute washout, not getting one victories, and I was the last hope. So, you know, there was sort of probably subconscious pressure on me, but from a conscious point of view, I was trying to drown all that noise out, focus on the performance, and sort of what will be from that. It was a close bout. Every round was split and the result was split, but, you know, more importantly, I got my hand raised and deserved that win. And yeah, the first one was out the way. Some buzz though, honestly. The best venue I boxed at, North Paris Arena, that was for my first two, and then my final one was at Roland Garros, which was just different level. Yeah, crazy, but yeah, special moments for sure.
Yeah. Well, we was at Riyadh Season LA Fight Week, and we was watching it in one of the hotels, and I spoke to Eddie the next day. And I said, Ed, we've got one on the board. And he was like, finally. He was like, everyone was watching it, pretty much shitting themselves, if I'm honest, thinking, we need something here.
Yeah.
So you bought the first win home. And then you go to the quarterfinal, a Jordanian who, I believe it was his second Olympic cycle.
Yeah.
So someone with experience at that level. I know the Tokyo Games was obviously not in that 4-year spurt and a very different games to any other, but someone who's been at the Olympics before. Headspace going into that one?
Listen,
just have time to even think about it.
Because I've been focusing a lot on my sort of mentality and my psychological side of things a lot lately, and Yeah, it was good. Listen, I've been in such a clear. My head has felt so clear the last few months. I had 4 bouts in Bangkok to qualify in Thailand. I had 3 bouts out here, and every single moment, every single bout was high pressure. Like probably the most high pressure bouts I've ever been in. But the way I dealt with every moment, I've been really, really impressed with myself and really proud of the way I've conducted myself inside and outside the ring. Headspace going into the quarterfinals, the medal bout. I knew what it meant, and you have a lot of people saying, you win this, it's life changing, and no one can ever take that away from you once you got it, and the options moving forwards are massive, and it's like, can we just chill out?
Do you fear the moment more than the opponent? I guess.
Yeah.
Whoever's in there, even if you were fighting me, you know that it's still big because it's what you get past it. So perhaps you fear the moment more than whoever's standing in the opposite corner.
And at light middleweight, I fear nobody because I know I'm massive at the weight. Because in the past, at middleweight, technically I'm good, I'm tall, I'm still big at the weight, but there'll be some real strong guys. But at light middleweight, I know I'm one of the strongest guys as well. So that sort of fear element of someone being sort of overwhelming me, that I don't fear that. And this guy tried to do that. And I think the biggest thing with a Jordanian is it was who he'd beat in the run-up to boxing me. He beat a Kazakh, one of the favourites for the competition. Then he beat the Japanese, one of the favourites for the competition. And then it was facing me. And I must admit, the fact that he beat them was better because his style was more suited. It was great him coming onto me because he walked onto backhands and he'd leave loads of gaps for me. And I just think it was testament, to myself and the team for the game plan was to really, utilise my strengths, and we was able to do that. And the fight was, albeit done going into the last round, I was 2-0 up on 3 of the scorecard. So as long as I didn't lose that last round big, which I knew I was never gonna, it was I knew I was going to win that Olympic medal. And I must admit that third round was quite a a special / strange feeling because I was almost going around the ring thinking, oh my God, I've done it. I've won an Olympic medal. I'm a medalist. And whilst fighting, and and again, it's being as switched on as you can and making sure you don't get caught with nothing big or caught with anything silly. But yeah, I was really impressed with how I dealt with them moments.
What a buzz, just coasting your way through the last round.
It's mad.
To a bronze
but
medal.
even then, like when you're waiting to get your hand raised, I knew I'd won the fight. It was almost impossible for me not to win it. But you're thinking,
even with the state of some of the judging that we saw, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy. But when you talk boxing, you always seem to bring up a little bit of negativity when it comes to judging. Yeah.
You
were dead cert sure.
Yeah, no, I was. Well, I say I was dead cert sure. I was thinking, can they just hurry up and announce this? But nah, listen, we were confident, the team were confident, and yeah, it was special. I had a lot of people out there from Colchester and other sort of family, friends, sponsors out there to support me, and it was a special moment for me, but a special moment for everyone else involved also.
Yeah. So we go on to the semi-final, Mexico. You said that at the start of this interview that it's really the only competition where you can walk away with a bronze medal and be happy. Once you know the fight isn't yours and that you're an Olympic bronze medalist, what's the initial emotion? Because once you get in the semi-final, I know you're thinking, I want to be
100%,
a gold medalist. But you're sitting there now, happy as can be with a bronze.
Yeah.
So what's like your first emotion post-fight?
Listen,
It must be a bit of a weird one.
No, it's
you can't turn your nose up at that. But obviously,
no, but you do.
That
initial emotion, that initial feeling is like you don't think about the bronze. You're not thinking about it. All you're thinking about is going on and winning, and not even what it means. It's just you want to win the fight. We link back to what I said at the start of the interview about that accountability of the individual sport of you getting your hand raised or not. That's on you. And I'm a winner, and I want to win every single thing I go into. That being said, it was a real close fight, and we thought we'd done enough, and other people did also, but for whatever reason, it wasn't meant to be. I'd done a couple post-fight interviews, very raw, and you could see on my face I was a little bit emotional and a little bit disappointed, and but what I wanted to make a conscious effort of was not dwelling on that too much and almost celebrating my journey rather than sort of dwelling or sort of commiserating myself on the fact that I've lost a semi-final in the Olympic Games. I performed well. Could I perform better? You know, potentially a tiny little bit, but I was proud of the way I performed. And yeah, for the moment, for the stage I was on, I was happy with that. It was just a case of that initial reaction was disappointment. You know, I'm a winner, and I want to be getting through to the final and boxing for the gold medal.
Yeah. Well, bronze it is, and obviously being a boxing fan and all the people that I was around at the time, everyone was over the moon that we've got a medalist. So does life change the second that you put the bronze medal on then?
I don't know.
Are we talking...
The thing is,
you said you got a girlfriend, didn't you?
Yeah,
I was going to say you get more, like DM some girls. Is like life a bit different? Like you come back to Colchester and like people lying in the streets clapping. Free pints down the booze. Free haircut.
I'm a real local lad, and I love getting around on my push bike. To be honest, that's just what I do. Like I've got my car, but I love getting
on the pushy with the bronze medal.
I leave that in the pocket for now. But like I'm just getting.
Don't make your way to London, by the way. If you're on the bike with a bronze medal,
say no more.
Someone will be wearing it around in the States somewhere.
But I'm just a super normal kid, and I'm getting beeped in the middle, like when I'm on my push bike. I'm on the train back from London from the Eurostar, and I'm getting people come up to me saying, "Oh my God, you're Lewis Richardson," and you know I'm wearing my Team GB kit with immense pride at the moment, and. Someone's joked the other day, said, how long do you reckon you wear that for? And I'm thinking, well, listen, I've got loads of kit and I actually love the kit, so I'm going to rock it for as long as I want. And but yeah, I don't know in regards to, you know, does your life change instantly? I've had some big people tell me that, some very well-respected people say, like, what you've just achieved, you know, will change your life forever. But it's difficult to really understand that. My expectations, it's hard to have expectations because this is it's a new moment for me. But what I would say is I'm trying to stay as present as can be. I'm trying to enjoy every moment and soak it all up because, you know, it's been years of hard work to get here, and I wanna celebrate this moment before we then move on to what's next, because, you know, the next chapter is going to be just as exciting as what this one's been.
Yeah. I'm saying you wear that Team GB kit until you sign a promotional deal.
Listen, I think that sounds good. We can rock with that.
Wear that Team GB kit whilst you're playing them all off against each other.
I don't know.
I'm going to ask this question. I know you're not going to answer it, but I've got to ask it for the sake of the fact that I'm here, sitting there doing this. Have you got a promotional preference?
Not massively. I think.
Have you got one in your head that you don't want to tell me?
Yeah, I'd say a slight one. But the reason I'd say, you know, not a real defined one, because I want the best opportunities out there. I want to be able to get my name out there. I want to be able to box some of the best fighters in the world. I want a trajectory. I want a career path that's going to lead me to success, both inside and outside the ring. So yeah, you know, whilst there's preferences, we'll have to see what's there on the table, and not only necessarily what's on the table, but what opportunities they can provide moving forwards. So yeah, that's my answer to that question.
Yeah. No, I did think I was going to get something that was on the fencey, but this is one question where I'll let you have the on the fence. I suppose everyone comes with their own thing. Like boxer have got the Sky deal, and we know what the Sky machine's like, especially with an Olympian. You look at like Lauren Price, and it's definitely more difficult for a female fighter. You look what she's done. Eddie can make anyone sound good, even if you are good like you are. Frank Warren has guided so many from the bottom to world champions. So everyone's got their little thing, but everyone's also working together.
Yeah.
As well, so
that's the beauty of it at the moment.
What a good time to turn pro, by the way. If we're being completely honest, financially, has it really been a better time?
Well, I just think the fact you say about people working together, that's what I'm loving about it. You look at the card coming up on the 21st September at Wembley, and all three of the big promoters in the UK, they've all got fighters on that same card. And it's a brilliant time to be involved in boxing. Obviously, new markets being opened in Riyadh and Saudi, and yeah, I feel so grateful and just super excited to see what opportunities come up for me, because you know I'm not going to be someone who ducks fighters and ducks opportunities. I'm not going to be someone who's afraid to lose their row or things like that. I want to box the best. I want the best opportunity to come my way, and I'll take them. Of course, I want financial security alongside that, but I want to be in this game to have good, big fights and make great memories for myself and for everyone involved on the journey.
Yeah. If I can put you a boxing bucket list as a professional, so I know you're going to want to be world champion, make money like you said, but is there one belt that you really fancy, one place in the world you want to box, one arena? Like, have you got a couple of bucket list things that, other than obviously just being a world champion and making your money?
You look at some of the bigger venues in the UK, like the O2 at Wembley.
I want to do the O2.
Yeah, like of course you look at so they're two big ones. For myself, like my links with my city or Colchester, I'd love to box at the Colchester United Football Stadium. As a massive Leeds fan, I'd love to, tap into sort of the Leeds market and box in Leeds. So they'd probably be my 4 sort of UK destinations. And then, yeah, I'd love to head stateside and also head out to head out to Saudi. I'd love to enter those markets and. Yeah, if the opportunities arise, then I'd certainly put my name on the table to take them.
Yeah. How long do you wait for things to unfold? Because I guess technically, I don't know if there's rules against this or not. I guess technically a promoter could have signed you up prior to the tournament.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I know. Well, I think Joshua was announced pretty much bang on a year. I remember the press conference to announce him was bang on a year after he won the medal. So
I definitely don't want it to be that long. Certainly don't want it to be that long. I'm 20, just turned 27. I feel like it's a great age, especially with the pedigree, with now the exposure, the profile that I've got. I feel like it's a great age to turn professional. I feel really developed. I feel big, strong. I know what my weight is. I'll campaign at super welter or middle, around that 154 to 160, and there's great fights to be made. Within Britain, but also worldwide. So I don't want to be waiting, super long. I want to enjoy this moment. I want to celebrate this moment. Maybe have the next few weeks. So I've got a couple holidays booked. I want to enjoy those.
Where are you off to?
I'm off to Sardinia, nice. And then me and my girlfriend is due a little holiday. So I'm unsure on that one. Yeah, I'll see where I can take her for that one. But yeah, I want to enjoy them, and then when I come back, which will be like mid-September, maybe back end of September, then I want to get things moving. To be honest, I would love to box before the end of the year's out as a pro. I'd love to, but it's just whether negotiations and things like that can make that happen soon enough. If not, it'd be very very early on into 2025.
Yeah, I don't want to talk too much about the pros because, like you said, you want to celebrate that, and that's what we're here for, to talk about today. But I guess when you turn over and you're a successful amateur, the first thing people talk about is how quickly do you move. It's not going to be Lomachenko style, but I know also you're not going to be sitting there 20-0, not having done an 8-rounder.
Yeah.
So, have you got something in your head that's like, I want to have fought for a major title within this space, or?
Well, I think...
I know you won't want to be sitting there.
Definitely
it's
not.
weird because the level you've boxed at
is far higher
than just doing 4-rounders against tough Eastern Europeans.
Yeah, well, 4-rounders, I'd like to think won't happen for me. I'd be happy to be jumping straight into 6, which I think that can be agreed pretty early on. And then you just look at the sort of trajectory of someone like Chev Clark, he's British champ and he's pushing on for European titles sooner rather than later, Commonwealth champ. So yeah, that's sort of trajectory. Fraser's just boxed for the British, obviously against Fabio early on in the year. I think most importantly, it needs to stay injury free. You look at some other sort of boxers who have had just as much sort of profile, trajectory, opportunity as me, but I've picked up injuries and niggles along the way. So I think it's so important to stay injury free, and then just listen to your team. I'm really confident I can really build a good, solid, strong team around me to sort of steer me in the correct path to be where I should be. But yeah, listen, I don't want to be hanging around. I'm happy. I'm experienced. I've had 126 or 27 amateur bouts. I'm an Olympic medalist. And I believe I can go all the way, so let's get cracking with it.
Yeah, what a perfect place to finish, Lewis. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. And any final words?
Nah, nothing really. I've been asked that a couple of times for interviews, but just massive thank you to everyone who's sort of supported the journey so far. Hoping we can really get a good following behind me, and just look forward to getting the journey started, and look forward to seeing what's next.